Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Digital Nomad World weekly series. I'm Becky, and I'll be your host. And today we're going to be talking about creating a sustainable digital nomad life through content creation with my guest, Carmen Corral. Carmen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
It is a real pleasure to talk with you, especially because I know you're working in this industry that I believe, but we can talk about it. I think it's growing and there's so much opportunity. So I'm excited to dive into this with you. First of all, Carmen, can you tell us about your background and how you first started your digital nomad journey?
Well, that's a long story, but let's keep it a bit short. But I always say that my story started much before than I actually started traveling. And it's because in 2013, I did a backpacking trip in Southeast Asia. I was traveling for 6 months. I want to figure out what I want to do with my life, with my career, especially. I was before working in Spain in HR, in human resources, and I was already tired of doing that. And I took the 6 months to think about what I want to do with my life. I came back to Spain after 6 months. I didn't figure out anything. I didn't think anything at all about what I want to do with my life. I have the worst time of my life when I come back because, after doing something new every day, then you come back home for Christmas. It was raining and I have no clue what I want to do. But there was something in my mind that was like, I wish I could do something that I could be traveling all the time. But that was 2013. It was something like that's impossible. It was like in my mind, but I never thought it would even be possible. Like I could do something like that. But then time passed. I went to live to Malta for a bit, and I was there living for almost 3 years. And I came back to work in human resources, which is what I knew what to do, even when I was not very happy with that anymore. And there, slowly, I started to have some remote jobs because I was so lucky that I was so unlucky that I couldn't find a full-time job. Malta is a very small country, so there is opportunities for some positions sometimes, but not for everyone, especially not for some positions. So there, because I don't have a full-time job, so I start to do some remote work, and I start to write for a HR software company. I start to write about how to recruit people, how to use a software recruitment. Then I start to work for another company to writing articles about how to do a CV, how to search for a job. And slowly I start to write for more and more clients, and I start to write for random things like tires or spark parts for cars or coins or things very, very random. And this is how I started my remote job. That was my first remote job. And then at some point I decided to start traveling. And as I started traveling, I searched for more and more jobs, and that became like my career as a content creator. That was 2017. So it was a long way to get here, but yeah, it worked out everything. Like I changed my career, and even since then, I changed my career again in the sense of like I'm content creator, but now I don't work that much for clients, and I work more for my own projects.
Hey, it's so interesting what you said. So I have a few questions about this. How many years was it between when you went back to HR after your 6-month trip to when you to 2017 when you started going full-time traveling?
So I came back to in 2014. I went to live to Malta like at the end of 2014. So it was like almost 3 years in Malta going back to work in HR and kind of like to me that was my transition part. That it kind of like it happened without not thinking that much. The idea of like I'm going to Southeast Asia to think what I want to do with my life is like thinking is not something that sometimes it happens. Of course, we have to give some thoughts to the things, but if we are open, things they will come.
Yeah, no, that's so important. And I love like that it actually, in a way, it took, I wish it had been quicker for you, but I think this is a really realistic time frame for some people.
Yeah.
I know everyone dreams of doing this right away, but it sounded like you did it in a really sustainable, gradual way that I think a lot of people could replicate if they put their mind to it.
Yeah. I mean, things can happen very fast, but sometimes they don't happen that fast. It's like usually things it takes a bit longer. And I will not actually say to me it took longer because I didn't even know in 2013 what was a digital nomad. And to me, it was more of a dream when I came back from the trip that I could be uh, traveling all the time. But that thing, it was in my mind and it was in the back of my mind. And then I brought it to life.
I love that. And another question I had for you is that you said you were in Malta and you were kind of unlucky, you couldn't find a full-time job, but and you had these online writing opportunities. But I'm wondering how you found those.
In Upwork, but back then it was not even called Upwork, but it was in Upwork. So in Malta, I have a position that I was working as a recruiter, but I was not working full time. And so that was like, that pushed me away, like that pushed me to search for something else, for something different. And that was like this remote jobs and writing that at the beginning it was just writing one article a week for a company. And I always thought, "Ah, it's gonna be impossible. I'm never gonna be able to survive just writing." But then at the time I decided, okay, I'm going to travel. I start for search for more and more and more jobs. It was a good time too as well. It was a good niche. I write always in Spanish and I work most of the times with clients that they are English speakers, they don't speak Spanish, and I speak English, but I write in Spanish. So it was a really nice time for doing that.
Yeah, I love that. Also, it was really interesting you said that the first thing you mentioned was that you were writing about HR and it's what you knew. And I think if people
Yeah.
are thinking of how to get started, write about what you already know. It seems obvious and, start with one
Yeah.
client and build it up.
I think always like when we do a professional transition, and I've seen that a lot because I was working in HR before, we need always to have like a connection point in between what we did before and what we want to do that now. If the connection point is not obvious, we have to search for that connection point and sell to the companies or to the clients that connection point in between our experience before and the experience we want to have now.
Yeah. What are some tips you might give people for making sure they do a great job with working for these clients at the beginning so they can keep getting more work?
So I think I was very successful because I was writing specifics on Upwork when you send like a bit, like you talk a bit about you, about how you can help them. So to make that, I had a template and then I personalized that template all the time. Like, oh, I can help you with this, and this. And then showing them all the experience I had before, like showing them all the work I had before. So I think that was very successful. And as well, you have I have to put myself out there a lot of times, like in a lot of places, to be able to get clients. Because if I go just for one, that maybe never reply for many reasons.
Yes, no, it's very important to hustle, even though you're on these platforms. There's so many other people on the platform, so you've got to do some extra
Yeah.
work, I think, especially getting started. So you mentioned now that you don't do as much writing. Can you clarify that? So do you, because I know a lot of people making content, a natural transition might eventually be to create their own website, let's say, and start writing their own content or having other people write content on their platform or website. Did you transition into that at any point?
Yeah, so I was since I started writing for clients, I was always thinking if I'm writing for these other clients, which sometimes they were like freelancers like me before, and now they have like a small project, I could actually write for myself. I could create my own project, but I have no idea about what. And it's like I didn't want to go into travel blogging because, well, for many reasons, I think that it needs the content needs to be very much updated all the time. It's not an easy content to create, even if you have been in the places where you are. So it's not the easiest way. And as well, about to monetize the content is not, there is a lot of competition. So I didn't know how to start or what to do. But then at some point I was keeping my ears open to any ideas. And at some point in our vacation in Uganda, we were a small group of 5, and there was one guy that has this German blog about peer-to-peer lending, crowdlending investments in a very small niche, something that people, they don't actually know that much. And there is a lot of money in affiliate marketing, and it's easy to monetize. So it took me just like a couple of days to make up my mind, and he told me a few things, and I start my blog right there. Like in that same vacation, I start to blog about that. Because at the beginning it was like, but I could not write about something that I don't know. And he said, no, the idea is to write about how you start investing, how you as a beginner, you start discovering this world. And this actually is something that works very well. Like people, sometimes they want to listen to people that they have more expertise, but a lot of times they want to hear other people like them, how they do the things, any kind of thing, you know. And then I start investing, and I start writing about that. And I start first with the blog, and then around 2020, during the pandemic, I start more focusing in the YouTube channel. And now the YouTube channel is much, much bigger than it is the blog.
Yeah, so you had told me you have a YouTube channel on peer-to-peer lending, which is, of course, another form of content creation. And that brings me to another question. What platform or what do you think is the best kind of content creation right now? You just said your YouTube channel is doing a lot better than the blog, or having more, in like, let's say, followers and interactions, I would say. I know we also have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have all of these things. Where do you think people should spend their time making content?
I think it depends a lot which kind of content. Like the thematic as well, is gonna make a bit of a difference. Like, and for some other people, it's gonna still work better to have written content. And even for myself, it's nice to have both. Like some people, they still like to write. Not everybody is watching videos yet, because more and more people is watching videos. And for me, it's work well YouTube because long form content is better. But there is many other thematics that short content is better, and that for that is probably Instagram or TikTok, or even right now YouTube has some shorts, but people, they don't use it that much. Then yeah, short content, I think for some things is important. And I could actually do some short content for what I do, but right now I'm focusing more on long content.
Yes, I've heard that long content pays more. Obviously, it takes more time to make it. And I know YouTube Shorts, I've heard, for example, don't pay that much. Also, like you said, it depends what you go into. I know finance related channels on YouTube get paid a lot more for the ads than certain other niches. Is that correct?
Yeah, there is some niches that they pay a bit more, but at the end, usually YouTube channel or any other channel with video or with content or any kind of content will not survive just on ads. Some business they do, but you have to have a very huge audience to really live out of just the ads. And most of the content that we see out there is monetized by affiliate marketing, sometimes some others by sponsors and some other things. But ads is just a complement, but it's never gonna be unless you have a huge audience.
Yes, yeah, I can imagine so. So if you don't mind me asking, do you get more of your income from the YouTube channel from affiliates? Have you managed to get some affiliates?
Yeah. I get everything from affiliates. Yeah, the advertise is very little because as well, mine is a very small niche. Is just investments in peer-to-peer lending just for the Spanish market, and not even the whole Spanish market, because it's limited usually to Europeans, so it's just for Spain. So it's so limited that I don't have a huge amount of subscriptions, and I have my videos, they have quite a lot of views for the amount of subscriptions I have, but it's not something that I'm gonna reach like thousands or hundreds. And yeah.
But I love this because you're saying to everyone, even though I'm in a really small niche, because I have affiliates, it's making me money and I can
Yeah.
travel and do this at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah. Yeah. There is a space for, and I actually think like the small niches are good because there's less competition. I think it's a nice thing. Like sometimes, like if we go to something very broad, we really have to make a difference in our content, in being different in our content than the rest of the competition.
Absolutely. Yeah. So people watching or listening to this, think about it. Niche down.
Yeah.
I know there's all these tools out there for checking keywords to see what is popular enough versus not, but we all about content creation. Can you get the
Yeah.
writing done? Where do you want to make the content? But there's so much opportunity out there. Do you think the opportunity is growing, or you think it's getting generally too crowded to keep, making a lot of money in the
I
future
think
in content creation?
I think there is always opportunity, and there is gonna be more and more user content creation. Like anybody could create content, so there's gonna be more competition, but there's gonna be as well more people that want to watch other people content. So I will say like probably the written content is gonna not die a bit. There's still gonna be important for some things, or like I will still gonna ever maintain a website, but I think people is reading less and less and watching more video for entertainment as well, and as well like entertainment and educational, and like making educational entertainment is very interesting. So I think there is going to be more opportunity for that, probably more video related than written content.
I agree with you. I do think more and more content creation and always new things to keep people's attention. Okay, this leads me to a question I'm sure people are thinking about. AI in connection with this whole world. How do you think AI is going to affect the world of content creation in the future, and how is it affecting you now, if it is?
So because right now I'm not working for clients that much anymore, but I think if I were working for clients, probably my working will be less right now in writing. But all AI tools, they need to be edited. Like we have to proofread and you have to change things around the AI. They are not perfect. They are very far from being perfect. So right now there is more and more work in editing, which is a job that I actually love, sometimes even more than writing. And that's for the freelance perspective. But for my business now and for my channel, I'm actually now starting to use AI to dub, to translate my videos to English in a new channel, and let's see how it goes. It's still like it's not as automatic as I thought it would be, but overall it's doing a great job. It's very far from being perfect, and you need to have like a lot of attention. Like I need to go through the translation. The tool in theory does everything automatically, but you need to go through all the translation, first the transcription, then the translation, then change things around, and then there is something that sometimes like Spanish and English, they don't have the same amount of words, of characters. So when it does translation and it tries to keep the same pace of the video, it doesn't actually work because Spanish is longer. And then when I do the translation in English, the video is much shorter. So it slows down the voice. But overall, it's kind of like a good idea and a good tool. And let's see how it works.
Yeah, that's great. So when did you create this second channel?
So the second one I just launching this week. I upload a couple of videos. It's called Happy Euros. And let's see. I know some people, they don't want to watch AI videos, but on the other hand, I think it's quite well. It's like voice cloning my voice. I speak better English than I speak right now when I speak with AI.
So is
So
it
yeah,
like, is it a faceless YouTube channel and it's your AI, your English voice, or how is that working for the second
I'm
channel?
translating the whole video like how it is in Spanish, which is basically I usually show on the screenshots and I show my face little or big. It depends on the time of the video. And basically I take this video and the tool translate the whole thing, clone my voice in English, and you can see my face and everything, and even synchronize my lips. That's sometimes a bit like weird, but I think it works.
Oh, wow. What tool are you using to make these videos?
So there is a few tools out there. I've been trying a few of them. Some of them are more specializing in creating videos from scratch. Like you can give them just a text and then they will create everything. They could even create an avatar based on you or based on somebody else or a random avatar. There is other tools like the one I'm using is a bit more focused on videos you already have and it translates. And it's called Rusk AI.
Rusk AI. Interesting. Yeah, it's always exciting to hear all these new tools that are coming. It sounds like you're going to be using, like a lot of other people, more of these tools in the future. And that leads me to my next question. Where do you see your content creation career going in the future? As we've heard, there's already been so many iterations of it.
Yeah, so right now I'm actually thinking I would like to create something different, new, like another, um, not sure another YouTube channel, but another, uh, something different, a new project in content creation as well. Probably I will go more for short, content, um, and I still don't have the topic yet, so this is why I didn't start it yet, but I really would like to have something different. So I always believe that it's nice to diversify a bit, especially working myself first as a freelancer. I learned that I really felt really safe. That is some people that when they quit their jobs and they start working as a freelancer, they feel like oh, the safety when you have a job it's not the same when you are a freelancer. So I feel more safe, more secure. My job was more secure when I was freelancer because I have many different clients in many different actually industries that it was really nice. Like for example, during the pandemic, I have no any problem. I almost have no clients in travel and that thing, that variety and diversification, different source of income, I think is very important to make this life sustainable.
That is such a great tip. And I think it should be a goal as people start to go further down the road with content creation. And I'm curious, like, as you started full-time traveling in 2017, you were doing content creation. How do you travel now? Has it changed since 2017? Do you stay in places longer?
Not really. Sometimes I stay in places a bit longer. Sometimes I like just a few weeks. Um, it's true that I start traveling, like more visiting places. I think we all had like this rush of like, oh, I want to go to most places as possible. And then at some point I start to like places and come back to some places. The most I spend in one place is usually 2 months. Sometimes like it's true because during the pandemic, I was for 1 year in Thailand, and now I have many friends there, so I come back to Thailand, and I can spend there like 6 months, 4 months. The last time I was there 3 months. But apart from that, the rest of the places I usually stay like a couple of weeks, 1 month, maybe no longer than 2 months.
Right. So if I had to ask you, you've been traveling this long, have you ever thought about going back to Spain and going back to an office?
No, just to think of thinking of going back to an office, no, I will not go back to it. I could go back or go and stay and live in one place, just in one place. I guess I could do that. But if I don't need to, I don't want to go back to work in an office and definitely not to work 9 to 5.
Okay. Well, Thank you so much, Carmen, for all of this amazing information. I hope it has inspired people to think about potentially content creation as a way for them to start traveling or living out some of their travel dreams and also working. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us or anything we haven't covered that you think might be helpful for people thinking about this?
I think we pretty much cover everything. I want to say thank you for inviting me today to it. And
Thank you again so much for joining us. And if people want to follow you, where can they go?
well, I believe most of the people is English speakers, so I have my new YouTube channel, Happy Euros. There is a website as well called Happy Euros. And if somebody speaks Spanish, it's Invertir en Préstamos Todos P, and there they can find all my contact details and everything.
Great. And we're going to put the links to that in the YouTube subscription and also on Spotify. Well, Carmen, I hope you have a great rest of your day and good luck with the new channel as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.